WPL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Baton Rouge. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wazan.
Good evening and welcome to the Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. Your hosts for tonight, we got Ryan Kennedy, we got Skip Cottrell, we got Casey Gaines producing behind the virtual glass tonight. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our audience on Your View, following that game time on Your View match between Madison Prep and U High, and all those tuning in on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. You'll see a full scoreboard, full statewide scoreboard ticker on the bottom of the screen throughout the night. We'll highlight a couple in the 5 regions of the state coming up in just a bit. As we get into Week 7, I think, guys, this is the first time we've got to start right on time at 10 o'clock. Catholic High and Central ended just before 10 o'clock. And so did Madison Prep and U High. We were able to transition and kind of start on time. We've had an extremely late start, an extremely early start, and now Week 7.
No rain delay.
Yeah, it's been
weather.
A good start so far.
So, Ashley, Brock went to 13th Gate tonight after his practice at Total Diamond Performance, and then I said, Ashley, just tell them to drop him off by the studio. Are they going to pass by you? No, they ain't passing by me. I just suggested they drop him off by the studio. She ain't listening to any word. But, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously?
Well, Coach, why do they got to go to 13th Gate? I've seen pictures of what it looks like in the front, in front of the house.
She's like, I thought it was by the old mall, so excuse me. Maybe. She ain't no way she's listening. I'll give you $100 if you listen. Just text me.
We're digging a hole now.
I'm fixing to text her and split it 50-50 with
her. Let's get tonight's show started with our opening drive.
Taking you through tonight's top stories, this is Opening Drive on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard.
So we start things off with a losing streak that was snapped. Curtis gets the better of Acadiana tonight, and they snap a 2-game losing streak. But Curtis losing 2 games is not all that rare when you consider, well, it was 2020 last time it happened, but they took these games to overtime. So it's been competitive, but they come out and, I mean, you play a very similar ball offensively to this team, but to hold them scoreless and to come out and play this way, that's impressive.
The highest scoring team in the state at this point. Acadiana averaging 53 points a game, 61.3 in their last 4 games, and get shut out by John Curtis.
And they may play again.
Very well.
That would be interesting.
Very
That would be great.
Now, John Curtis, you mentioned the 2 losses in 2020. That happened 2 times that year, which is not normal. But this team, John Curtis has not lost 3 games in a row since 1969. That was their first year. They were 0-10, and that's the only time they've ever lost 3 in a row. That's an incredible stat. I got to thank Kevin Fayard, the voice of John Curtis radio down there, for that little tidbit, but you know, man, that's incredible.
I bet Neville hadn't lost 3 in a row ever. I'll have to go back and check.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see. You think about it. I'm sure at some point they probably did. They didn't have any down years from the 60s.
No, they won the state championship back then.
I mean, that's incredible.
You were 14. I wasn't even born yet in the 60s.
Coach JT Curtis is 1 win closer to that national record. I forget where it stands at this point in time, but you know, when you consider piling up that amount of wins, it is very rare to see not only not having lost back-to-back, but never or hardly ever since the start of his coaching tenure and the school playing football, never putting 3 together. Another score, or at least 2 more headlines that I brought up. Sterlington rolls again. They're playing really well defensively. They went up against Jamarian Island, who's one of the top running backs in the state over at Union Parish, Union Line. They're very strong up front, according to Jake Martin, who covers that area really well. They just continue to face opponents. And looking at the schedule, so in a loss to West Monroe, they gave up 14. In a game against the defending champ in Oak Grove, they gave up 35. But outside of that, 0, 0, 6, and 6. Defense plays well. Offense puts up plenty enough, and they roll.
But a big thing with Sterlington, and we talked with Coach Lee Doty earlier in the year, when they have a good offensive line, that's the years that they're really good. They have a really good quarterback in Dylan Downs.
Yeah.
I think he's a junior committed to LSU for baseball. They have a running back, Tramel Colvin, that we've called out numerous times. Seems like he's been there forever, and Mitch Hodnett on the offensive line. They're strong. The defense, like I said, last year they gave up 20 or more in 9 games. And that's not like Sterlington at all. But they get a big win over Union. Sterlington's only loss was to West Monroe week 1.
Close game.
Yeah. And Union's 2 losses were to Airline and Captain Shreve, who have both 5A teams, combined record of 10-2. So good win for Sterlington tonight. You mentioned Jamarian Island. You know, he's replacing Trey Holly, right?
Right.
The all-time leading rusher in the state of Louisiana high school football. What's Island do? He's leading the state this year, over 1,200 yards.
What's he, an 8th grader?
I think he's actually a senior, but a lot of that will tell you there, when you're replacing that kind of guy, a lot of it's the system and what Coach Spatafora does with his group up there.
I think they had a pretty big front coming back. Offensive line.
They were
big too.
They were returning.
Like
they returned 8 on offense.
Yeah.
The other game that I wanted to at least highlight, we talked about Curtis breaking a 2-game losing streak, but Sam Houston lost last week, and that was a tough game to Acadiana. But you bounce back this week and you get a win, so you don't let that kind of sit and fester and grow into a losing streak. They've proven that they can play. And they come back and get a win this week.
Well, as we bounce around the state, like we normally do with coaches, Coach Chad Davis is one we're going to try to reach out to as one of the bigger games in the area. They moved to 6. Sam Houston moves to 6-1. Lafayette falls to 3-4. Lafayette can score some points. Sam Houston did a good job holding them in check tonight.
That's what I was going to say is that, Jimmy, we were talking about that, you know, just to be able to get back in the winning category. And Jimmy just mentioned how many points Lafayette can score and what a good job defensively Sam Houston has done. Everybody struggles against Acadiana, and they did a good job putting that behind them to move forward.
The common thread seems to be some good defense. When you get into week 7, it's going to travel. You're going to need it as you get into the later half of the season and into the postseason. Let's get you caught up first, as we are certainly efforting a couple of victorious head football coaches tonight with our first set of scoreboards, and we'll start first with games being played tonight in the capital city.
The Capital City Scoreboard, served by walk-ons.
Catholic High over Central 42-38. West Feliciana defeats Burley 20-0. University High 43, Madison Prep 7. Walker 33-14 winner over East Ascension. Zachary shuts out Scotlandville 51-0. Dunham over Episcopal 55-28. St. John defeats Ascension Christian 28-21. And Santa Maria over Denham Springs 14-7.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
John Curtis blanks Acadiana 28-0. Edna Carr 35, Jesuit 7. Newman a 29-24 winner over De La Salle. Bell Chase and Shaw still in progress. St. James blanks Patterson 48-0. Brother Martin over Holy Cross 22-19. St. Aug and Rommel tomorrow night at 7. And Destrehan 38, Terrebonne 7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
St. Charles over St. Martinville 43-15. Sam Houston over Lafayette 34-21. Roe Bridge defeats Kinder 46-36. Catholic New Iberia blanks Delcom 49-0. Notre Dame over Vinton 48-6. St. Louis defeats Lake Charles College Prep 34-7. Southside over Sulphur 38-14, and Vermilion Catholic 42, Jeanerette 8.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
Alexandria over Ouachita Parish 35-10. Parkway defeats Byrd 21-3. North DeSoto over Evangel 38-28. West Monroe defeats West Ouachita 42-14. Sterlington defeats Union Parish 24-10. Tioga 20. Franklin Parish 16. Logan Sport all over Northwood Lena 60-0. And Dearborn Woods Charter 35. Loyola Prep 7.
Don't have time for a new rash?
I don't have time for this.
We're here to help with convenient virtual visits on your computer or any mobile device. If you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Scucha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding.
The bus ride back home better since 2011. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Louisiana Prep School Board, presented by Lake Urgent Care. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy as we roll into the first hour of the show, looking back at early Week 7 action. On Thursday night, Lutcher gets the win over Hahnville 14-7. Their head coach, Dwayne Jenkins, joins us right now. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on that win.
Thank y'all for having me. Yeah, it was another tough game on the river, but we found a way to get it done.
Coach, we opened the show tonight talking about how good some of the area and quite frankly, a lot of teams around the state that are successful right now, their defense is standing out. And over the last 4 weeks, you guys have only allowed, I think, about 17 points. Talk about the way your defense has performed as of late.
Well, I think it starts with our defensive staff. This has been something that's kind of been building for a couple of years. We returned 9 guys that started for us in a state championship game last year, so that gives us a great start. Our defense is led by Cade Worsham, who's been a defense coordinator at a couple of places throughout Baton Rouge, and probably a name that some people recognize. Chris Daigle, who was a longtime defense coordinator at Dutchtown, has been with me the last 10 years at St. James and Lutcher. Cortland Taylor, who coaches in our secondary, and former player who's a 2-time state champion as a player. Rowdy Scott coaches our defensive line, and I just think our defensive staff has just done a great job of kind of molding this group for a few years to the point that they've been dominant this season.
Coach, you have been an offensive guy, one of the better ones since I've been in the high school coaching area, and you're used to scoring points. And this year it's just a totally opposite game for you. And like you said, I know you returned 9. You hadn't given up at 33 points on the year.
Well, I'm going to have to take up for him because a couple years ago we talked about his mindset change because of running the football. That was
last year with lunch.
I think it's even 2 years before that, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Our memories are very good, especially when they're put together.
Well, I remember that conversation. He used to want to see how many points he could score, how many times he could throw it, and then he's like, now the older me says, I just want to get out of here with a win and do what we got to do, and that's really what you guys are doing this year.
That's it. It's a change of mindset, but it's because we're going to play to our strengths. I think that's, if you talk to any coaches that's been in this a long time, and that's what you got to play to what your talent has. And it's been a year where we returned 9 guys on defense. We only returned 3 on offense, and we're playing a lot of young guys on the offensive line, and they've got to grow up and learn. And it does play a difference in how you call a game and how you call plays. And sometimes where you used to think that this was 4-down territory and you might call a play on 3rd down, now it's just, can we add a couple yards to this punt right here, pin them back, and play for field position. And when you get good field position, play to score. So it has changed our mindset a little bit. I think it takes a little bit of time for a team to learn to win that way when you've been used to being able to go out there and maybe getting a shootout and score a ton of points and win. But our kids, and that's the mark, I think, of good programs and good teams, the most important thing is to win. And what's the most important goal is, and that's finding a way to go 1-0 every week. And our kids believe in it, and our kids obviously believe in the job that the defense does for us each week in and week out.
The first thing you did last year when you won the state championship, you looked at me and you kept looking over at the St. Charles coaches, and then I said, go, and you took off running to them, and that relationship means a lot to you. You played them early on in the season, and it was 16-14, great game. Talk a little bit about that relationship and how really it seems that you two schools and coaching staffs kind of thrive off one another.
Well, it's unique. Coach Dunn and our kind of careers have mirrored themselves. He's a defensive guy, and I'm an offensive guy. We both coached and played for guys who are legends in the game of Louisiana high school football, and Coach Monica and Coach Detillier. And Coach Monica for Coach Dunn, that's his uncle. Coach Detillier was a father figure for me. And we just kind of both grew up and playing on the river and had a lot of respect for each other. And then kind of as our careers kind of progressed, it's good to have somebody who's kind of walking in the same footsteps that you are. And then you add Lee Roussel into that group, the coach of Riverside. We've got a great relationship that dates back, and we've bounced ideas off each other. And now with some of the staff at St. Charles, with Jason Brown and Coach Talley that are there, those guys work with Chris Daigle, who's on my staff, and then we've got brothers I've got a brother, Blake Forsythe, and Coach Dunn has another brother, Coach Logan Forsythe, that coaches on his staff. So there's a lot of connections between our staffs. But it's a healthy rivalry in a lot of ways when we play. We know that you're going to get championship effort from both teams. We know that game is going to make us better, regardless of what the outcome is. Unfortunately for me, we've been on the short side of some classic football games the last 2 years. Last year, it ended with us getting tackled inside the 4-yard line, going for the go-ahead touchdown, and this year it ended with them kicking a field goal with no time left on the clock to beat us 16-14.
Coach, one of the guys that you do have returning on offense was Trenton Chaney. He gets a big run in the second quarter to put you guys ahead with a 26-yard run, and basically was the deciding factor in the game. Talk about him.
Yeah, Trenton's he's a one of the playmakers that we have back that has experience, and he knows that we're leaning on him. Last year, he kind of took that as a sophomore, kind of was learning the way, and Lunch led that offense. But he's the guy coming back that's our most explosive guy, and he's had to learn to play a little bit more inside the tackles. But I would tell you that we knew that Trenton had the ability to do this. If you think back to last year in the playoffs, in the second round, we played a very good St. Martinville team. Lunch had a high ankle sprain, and we knew that he was going to be limited in what he can do. And we kind of put that game in Trenton's hands, and he delivered for us with a 200-yard-plus rushing night, had a big kick return, scored some big touchdowns, and kind of got us another week to get Lunch healthy. So Trenton's a big part of what we do, and it's one of the things is just being patient and knowing that it's not going to be the same as it was in the past, and understanding that sometimes we're going to make some mistakes up front, and we just got to keep grinding and keep going with it.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us tonight. I know it's your night off, and go get in the bed and get you a little bit of rest and get back to work next week.
We took advantage of the day off, got to watch film with the kids today, got to go scout our next two opponents tonight, and get back to the grind tomorrow morning.
How you and your son doing, man? Y'all managing the household smooth?
It's good. He gets it. He knows that he's held to a different standard, and people look at it different ways. And he's about the team first, and I think he epitomizes what a lot of our kids are about, and that's just about whatever it takes, whatever his role needs to be week in and week out. He's willing to do it, and that's normally the mark of a good football team, when kids are just easily and readily able to accept their roles.
You tell him Uncle Jimmy, Uncle Todd, and Uncle Cade got his back whenever he needs us.
That's right.
Well, y'all would definitely relate to this. Y'all know as well as anybody, the kids are the easy ones to convince of their roles.
Yes. We know what you're saying without saying anything else.
I appreciate you guys a lot.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck.
You know, River Parish football, always exciting football down in that area and on the Bayou as well. Thursday night also saw Destrehan getting the win over Terrebonne. Don't look too far ahead, but in 2 weeks they got a game against East St. John that I know we'll have a lot of eyes on.
Yeah, Destrehan wins 38-7. They go to it's their 21st straight win in a row. Hadn't lost since Zachary in the playoffs a couple years back. But Coach Scott wasn't happy. Destrehan committed 11 penalties for 115 yards, including 4 on their opening drive. And he had some issues with that. The sophomore class is what came up really big for Destrehan. Their quarterback, Jackson Fields, was 15-25 for 322 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 wide receivers, Jabari Mack and Greg Wilford, had big nights. Mack had 4 catches, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. All of those guys are sophomores. And then the LSU committed linebacker, Kalaj Coben, had an interception for about 30 yards for a touchdown also.
I think this is Tyler Lewis. If it's not his second, it's his third year at Terrebonne, and he's doing a good job. They're not quite to that Destrehan level, but, when you're winning games you're supposed to win and try to compete against those upper-level teams, you're going to get there sooner than later.
They have a receiver who's committed to LSU, and his name skips my mind right now, but he had their long touchdown. It came right at the very end of the game. But they've scored, I think, over 40 points in 4 of their last 5 games. So they've been putting up some points. And Coach Lewis comes from St. James and has really done a good job.
Elsewhere on Thursday night, what else stood out to you?
Dutchtown with a big win. Coach Guy Mastretta, they go to 5-1. Tell of opposite weeks, I guess you could say, where they blew a lead last week. They were trailing 16-14 to start the fourth quarter, but Dutchtown owned the fourth quarter this time. And we talked about not playing for 21 days, basically 3 weeks. What conditioning and special teams could do to you. But Dutchtown owned the fourth quarter, had 2 drives of 61 and 68 yards. Dutchtown's defense held Live Oak to 10 yards total offense in the fourth quarter. Ethan O'Quinn had a big night also.
1-1 in district play is a lot different than 0-2 when you consider how competitive things are. You know, you go down that hole and it's tough to climb out. But you're 1-1 now. After a long break, a tough loss last week, you bounce back. That's a good spot for the Griffins.
Next week's going to be a big game between Santa Ma and Dutchtown.
Santa Ma, who remains undefeated.
Or EA?
Santa Ma.
Ooh, yeah.
So, Casey, if you can come to this video I've got here, I want to put this full screen for everybody. Todd and the boys were hard at work today.
Yeah, I think it's important that when you coach, no matter what level, you try to get your kids to be able to give back. And that's what today we did. This is my freshman football team, and they were over at the Celtic Studios helping Ray Leanna's consignment. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, but a portion of that money goes to charity. So it's a big thing. But I told them I'd get them on the TV if, they came out there and they worked hard and they did a good job. And they got tomorrow morning to go, and it's keeping them busy.
There you go.
Yep.
We'll look forward to hearing more from those projects coming up throughout the season. If you want to highlight something, certainly let us know the good work you are doing out and about. We'll take a time out. A full scoreboard coming your way next. This is the Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Board's marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time. Get your results fast at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. As we mentioned at the top of the show, a big win for Sam Houston tonight over Lafayette. Their head coach, Chad Davis, will join us here in just a bit. But let's get you caught up on scores, and we'll start with the Capital City.
The Capital City Scoreboard, served by walk-ons.
Catholic over Central 42-38. West Feliciana over Burley 20-0. University High 43, Madison Prep 7. Walker defeats East Ascension 33-14. Zachary blanks Scotlandville 51-0. Dunham a 55-28 winner over Episcopal. St. John defeats Ascension Christian 28-21. Santa over Denham Springs 14-7.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by peak performance.
John Curtis over Acadiana 28-0. Edna Carr 35, Jesuit 7. Newman a 29-24 winner over De La Salle. Archbishop Shaw 41, Bell Chase 15. St. James blanks Patterson 48-0. Brother Martin over Holy Cross 22-19. St. Aug and Rummel tomorrow night at 7. And Destrehan 38, Terrebonne 7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
St. Charles over St. Martinville 43-15. Sam Houston defeats Lafayette 34-21. Breaux Bridge a 46-36 winner over Kinder. Catholic New Iberia blanks Delcom 49-0. Notre Dame over Vinton 48-6. St. Louis Catholic defeats St. Charles Prep, Lake Charles Prep 34-7. Southside 38, Sulphur 14. Vermilion Catholic 42, Jeanerette 8.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
Alexandria over Ouachita Parish 35-10. Parkway defeats Bird 21-3. North DeSoto over Evangel 38-28. West Monroe 42, West Ouachita 14. Sterlington a 24-10 winner over Union Parish. Tioga 20, Franklin Parish 16. Logansport all over Northwood Lena 60-0. And DR Bones Wood Shar 35, Loyola Prep 7.
The North Shore Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care.
Covington over Hammond 20-19. St. Paul over North Shore 9-7. St. Helena 44, St. Thomas Aquinas 14. Bogalusa 21, Jewel Sumner 13. Springfield and Independence late in the game. Slidell 18-14 over Ponchatoula. Archbishop Hannon 45, Salmon 14. And Amite 40, Pine 35.
Thank you, Skip. Everyone behind the scenes making things happen. We got Skip, we got Ryan and Casey. Kate Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy here on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. Don't forget, it is time of that time of year to get your flu shots, and you got plenty of opportunities. There's over 20 Lake Urgent Cares around the area. You can sign up online, get that done, be in and out, and have that peace of mind if you are looking to get a flu shot. Let's go ahead and jump back on the hotline. And we join a victorious head coach after a Week 6 loss. They bounce right back and get a 34-21 win over Lafayette tonight. Sam Houston head football coach Chad Davis joins us now. Coach, thanks so much for a couple minutes.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Coach, last year when we talked a little bit about you blame me for not teaching you defense. Somebody taught you defense over the off season, but you guys really, Acadiana is just tough altogether, and you'll get there with that. But other than that, you guys are really playing solid football.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of really good things. We got a lot of leadership that's developed in the program, and a lot of juniors that have, got thrown to the wolves 2 years ago that have really developed and really taken ownership of the program. So, I mean, we're starting to see a lot of success because of it.
I know going into the Acadiana game, and I don't know if you had any then or tonight, defensively you had 12 interceptions. Cooper Smith, I think, if I'm not mistaken, had 6 of them for you.
Yeah, he's had 7, 1 taken away, so 6 on the books. Been doing a really good job for us. He's a junior secondary guy for us, just a baseball kid. He's got an eye for the ball, follows his keys, and done a really good job for us.
Talk a little bit about, and this is obviously I'm getting some information from one of my inside sources over there, Gavin Stout and Jack Davis as your leaders.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
let me interrupt.
No, you can't interrupt me.
Gavin Stout, I don't know much about him. I know he's a junior, but the thing that jumps out to me, his stats is right over 1,000 yards. But Todd, you'll love this: 14 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. He's taking care of the football.
I think his coach taught him that.
He got his first one tonight.
Yep.
I do have to say that. He stepped up and tried to force something, and anytime you try to force something down the field when you got to step up in the pocket, it doesn't turn out well. He could have ran for 6, 7, got down, and moved on to the next play, but he was a little greedy at times. But he did throw his first one, so.
So he in the center, though. I mean, we've always said, and you know this, I think your best lineman has to be at center because he has so much that goes on. Is your center probably responsible for a lot of the success you guys are having offensively?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's making all the calls. We may have a protection on, and he's changing it based off the front. He's doing a really good job as a leader and making sure everybody understands what's going on, and he's very vocal. He's another junior that's on his 3rd year starting. So it definitely is a bonus for us.
2 other guys that have played really well for you, wide receivers Cole Flanagan and Aiden Ross. Both of them with 13 and 12 catches respectively, 334 yards, 326 yards, 9 touchdowns combined. So they've given you good play wide receiver. They're more ball control type receivers, or is one of them a deep guy?
Cole Flanagan's more of a ball control guy. He's big as a tight end, F-back for us. He's involved in the run game a lot, so he's sneaking out a lot more now. He's getting a few big plays. Aiden Rose is kind of our single-side guy, outside number 1. Got some good speed to him, runs good routes, really good hands. We're really balanced across the board. Number 10, Drew Johnette for us was an all-state receiver last year, and they're trying to take him away, so it's giving other guys a lot of opportunity.
Coach, is there anything that you can pull out positive from the Acadiana game that's going to help you with the last 3 games with Karen Crow, and then you go out of district to Edie White, and then finishing up at home against Southside?
Ooh, that's a tough stretch.
Yeah, we did not – I'll be honest, Acadiana was probably our worst game that we played all year, and that was not the team that we should have played that against. And Acadiana played their best game, and McCullough even said it, that's the best game they played in 2 years. So when you go into that kind of atmosphere and you don't put your best effort forward, it's definitely a learning curve for us. And, it was the first loss that we took on the season, so it was good to see our kids bounce back and not let it affect us this week.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Sam Houston moves to 6-1, and Karen Crow next week. You said, Todd?
Karen Crow at home, baby.
Karen Crow at home. Ought to be a fun one, and congratulations, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
Good talking to you, man.
Absolutely. Good talking to y'all. Thanks for having me.
You know, until he mentioned that stretch, I didn't
tough.
realize, especially the non-district game with E.D. White. And, you know, you come out so far this season at a 5-1 mark. And your last three opponents, 6-0, 6-0, 5-1. So, yeah, you're going to be tested. But as you mentioned against that Acadia, maybe there is something to learn from, hey, if your worst game was against one of the better teams.
Well, the good thing is, they've played Acadiana that runs a veer,
and it was on the road.
Karen Crow's going to be a veer team. E.D. White's a veer team. Southside's a veer team. So all three of those in a row are going to be veer teams that they're going to, that they'll be familiar with, because we talk all the time about how hard it is to duplicate that in practice. Sam Houston's been able to score with anyone. Other than last week, well, tonight was 34 points, but they scored 35 points or more in every game, take away the Acadiana game. So they're able to score. They're getting some turnovers defensively, especially on the back end. Now can they create turnovers on the front end against these running teams they're going to play?
You know, if that was me on the offense, I think that behind closed doors, you and I would be talking about we want to score on that first possession just to relax our guys. But I wouldn't say it to the team because you wouldn't want them to panic if you didn't. But I think that it'll be interesting, and it's going to be a little bit better environment being able to have two of those three games at home for Sam Houston.
A lot of good football out in the Acadiana area, and Sam Houston is proven to be among that mix. We'll take a timeout. We got more scores throughout the night. Don't forget, if you want a full scoreboard, we've got that on our ticker on the bottom of the screen throughout the night. All finals from every game being played tonight in Week 7. You can find it there. Thanks so much to everyone tuning in on 104.5 ESPN's YouTube channel and our friends over on YourView. This is Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor, so you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast? All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
His name was King. He had a horse along the country.
Coach Devin Ducote from West Feliciana High School, and you're listening to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Good evening and welcome back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, Week 7. We are presented by Lake Urgent Care, Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. Dunham faced Episcopal in a district matchup tonight on the campus of Episcopal High School. It was our walk-ons game of the week. The Dunham Tigers were victorious, and their head coach, Neil Weiner, joins us live here. Coach, congratulations on the win. Thanks so much for a couple minutes with us tonight.
Cade. There was a lot of fun out there tonight, and glad I could come on and represent our school.
Great country club bowl, as Coach Randy Linedecker described it, named it for the last few years. Coach, first quarter was about as pretty as you can get. Second quarter got a little ugly on both sides. A couple turnovers, a bunch of 3-and-outs, but the first quarter, I mean, your opening drive, go right down the field. You threw it every pass except for one, and that was the touchdown run. Elijah Haven, who people are going to get sick and tired, Todd. I'm just telling you now. They're going to get sick and tired of me talking about him for 4 years. But he made 2 throws in the first half. They looked like the replay.
I mean, it was
just like fantastic. 42 and 41 yards, I think they were. Where he just dropped it in a bucket. But you open it up right off the bat. You get a great play. You go down and score. You get an interception. You go down and score again. And then a play by, who was it? Jake
Jake House on the punt block. Yeah.
On the punt block. That play there was incredible. I don't know that I've ever seen that.
Yeah, that was pretty special. I'll never get tired of you talking about Elijah.
The other people going to, Coach, because he is unbelievable.
No, he was fantastic, and that play that Jake made was incredible. You don't see that a whole lot. You know, you teach guys, hey, don't lay out for the block, just take it right off his foot. And I mean, that's exactly what he did. The ball was kicked, it went right into his hands, and he took it to the house. It was a fantastic play. But no, we did. Our guys, they had a fantastic week of practice, and I had a feeling we would start strong. I can't predict what they will do, but I knew our guys would be locked in and we'd be ready to roll. And we really did. In all 3 phases, we came out on fire.
Was your block was that a punt block, or did he just come free?
I can't give away trade secrets.
Okay, I understand. I knew that was a little iffy question. I appreciate you being honest.
But the truth is we try to be aggressive every time. So we try to make sure that we can try to get somebody free on every single punt, and just to apply pressure, make sure the punter can't ever feel comfortable. So it was Jake on that particular one that got through, and he did a great job of executing.
I will have to tell you, and Kate can vouch for it, I called that block punt.
Did you?
Oh,
well, I appreciate it.
I called it. I'm gonna tell you what. I called it as soon as the center snapped the ball.
A little high.
Yeah.
It was a little slow getting back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't call any of those penalties, did you? Because there was plenty.
No. Yeah, it did get a little ugly in the second quarter.
That was the second quarter you were mentioning?
Yeah, it just kind of got a little sloppy, and I think from every aspect of it, it wasn't so much what any team was doing. It's just like Dunham was in such a rhythm, as well as you can be for the first quarter, and then neither team could get in any kind of rhythm in the second quarter.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously, as the game went on, you got back into it. A couple guys talking with Caleb Leyendecker earlier in the day that he thought would be keys to your game, and you mentioned in our notes when we were talking, your defensive front had to really fill the gaps real well on the pulling guards, disrupt the pulling guards to allow your team to make some plays. But Malachi Jackson and Lewis Phillips, two senior defensive linemen, had to have a big night tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Episcopal does a fantastic job running their offense, and the running back George. I mean, he makes it go this year. You know, sometimes it's the fullback that makes it go in that wing offense, running the traps and the G's, things like that. And so for us to make him have to try to balance it and not be able to just put his foot in the ground like he likes to be able to do was huge. He got a couple of nice runs for sure. All he needs is a crease, but our defensive line, they did a fantastic job. Lewis Phillips and Malachi Jackson, both of them just big, physical, tough kids, and they were fantastic up front for us.
Is that the key to your success moving forward with the last three regular season games into the postseason, the interior of both your offensive and defensive lines?
Yeah, I think all of us know, coaches know, you know, if you're going to make a deep run in the playoffs, if you want to be considered a true top team, it all starts with physicality up front on both sides of the ball. And we've been fortunate the last couple of years that we've been pretty physical up front. And those two guys on defense especially. But Oscar Boatner and Hopeland Eldridge and Connor Guidros in the middle of our offensive line, they've done a fantastic job. And tonight we moved big Malachi Jackson to an H-back spot and just ran behind him in the second half, and that made a huge difference.
Coach, right before the half, right before I guess we left to get back here for the studio, one of your receivers, I believe number 10, took a hit. Looked like he was on the ground for a bit. How's he doing?
He's good. He's going to be okay. He's got a little bit of a headache, but he's going to be fine. No serious injury. You know, he'll be held out for a few days for evaluation to make sure that he's good. But nothing serious, you know, on his part. Our starting tailback, who had a great game for us, got hurt there in the, I think, early fourth quarter. And so we're hoping Mason Wild will be okay. We'll have to let the swelling go down, and he'll get checked out. And hopefully we'll be able to get him back for the playoffs.
Is Mason is number 10?
Mason's number 7. He's our running back.
Okay.
Yeah, number 10, Harrison Malik is the one that got the hit to the head, and he was fine. He didn't know a whole lot about that particular play, but after that he was in good shape.
Coach, before we go to a break, our State Farm Student Athlete of the Week, presented by Drew Dillio, Brian Moe, Byron Gill, and Mitch Mueller, is Drew Bourgeois. Plays wide receiver for Dunham, a 3.4 GPA, 24 on the ACT. Going into tonight, he was averaging 30.3 per catch, 13 receptions, 394 yards, 8 touchdowns. Also had an interception for a return, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, a 2-sport athlete, all-state in baseball. Tell us a little bit about Drew.
He number 1?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, number 1, Drew Bourgeois. I mean, we love him. I think it's awesome that Drew Dillio is a part of this, and that Drew Bourgeois gets an award that he's a part of, because there's a lot of similarities. You know, they're kind of undersized, and some people may want to overlook them, but they just make plays, and that's what Drew's done for us the last 2 years. And he was fantastic tonight. Had an interception that sealed the game in the fourth quarter, and we like to joke, he's got that dog in him. He's one of the most physical guys we've got, even though he's undersized. He's got big play. He's got a touchdown capability every time he touches the ball. And then he goes out on the baseball field and is an all-state player and led us to the state tournament last year. And, just a fantastic kid that we love having been a part of our program and represents Dunham well.
Again, Drew Bourgeois, our Student Athlete of the Week, presented by State Farm. 3.4 GPA, Cade.
I heard Westside was looking at him.
Westside might be.
Westside had a big game against South Park tonight. I'm not sure how they did.
South Park. Hold on, I can tell you. I did.
They got a big defensive lineman named Cartman.
Southside won. Westside won 47-0 over South Park. So you were right, but they have Southside next week.
Oh wow! Okay.
They'll miss that one.
That's right.
Well, Coach, congratulations, man! Another big win over Episcopal. And before we forget, congratulations on your 140th career win.
Man.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I didn't know that going into it. I saw Robin's article, and so that's cool to have a great number like that. And certainly being at Dunham and being with these coaches has played a big part in that. And, if I coach for the next 60 years, I might catch up to my dad.
That's right.
All right.
Hi, Coach.
Thanks a lot, guys.
There you go, head coach Neil Weiner from Dunham. That was our walk-ons game of the week. When we get back, we'll continue with more scores, more coaches, and helmet stickers coming up. Another hour to go here on this Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care.
Don't have time for a stomach virus?
I don't have time to be sick today.
When you're sick after hours or weekends, you don't have time to wait around. Save time and money and feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Baton Rouge. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wazan.
From Bunkie to Berg, we got you covered tonight, the Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. Get your flu shot. Or if you're looking for it, Lake Urgent Care can take care of you. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, Ryan Kennedy, Casey Gaines, and Skip Petrayer behind the scenes. If you're looking for a full scoreboard tonight, flip over to Your View or the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. And on the bottom of the screen, scrolling throughout the night, is every score, every final score from Week 7. We'll highlight a couple throughout the night, efforting a couple of coaches. And in just a couple of minutes, we'll get back to some of the key games here in the Baton Rouge area, breaking down what happened between Catholic and Central and a couple others that we were following. But first, let's get you caught up on some of the scores, specifically the 5 regions of the state. We'll start first in the capital city.
The Capital City Scoreboard, served by walk-ons.
Catholic over Central, 42-38. West Feliciana blanks Bruley, 20-0. University High, 43. Madison Prep, 7. Walker, a 33-14 winner over East Ascension. Zachary blanks Scotlandville, 51-0. Dunham over Episcopal, 55-28. St. John, 28. Ascension Christian, 21. And Santa Maria, 14. Denham Springs, 7.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
John Curtis shuts out Acadiana 28-0. Edna Carr 35, Jesuit 7. Newman a 29-24 winner over De La Salle. Archbishop Shaw 41, Bell Chase 15. St. James blanks Patterson 48-0. Brother Martin over Holy Cross 22-19. St. Augustine Rumble plays Saturday night at 7. And Destrehan 38, Terrebonne 7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
St. Charles over St. Martinville, 43-15. Sam Houston defeats Lafayette, 34-21. Breaux Bridge, a 46-36 winner over Kinder. Catholic New Iberia blanks Delcombe, 49-0. Notre Dame over Benton, 48-6. St. Louis over St. Lake Charles College Prep, 34-7. Southside 38, Sulphur 14, and Vermilion Catholic 42, Jeanneret 8.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
Alexandria 35, Ouachita Parish 10. Parkway at 21-3 winner over Byrd. North DeSoto defeats Evangel 38-28. West Monroe over West Ouachita 42-14. Sterlington 24, Union Parish 10. Tioga defeats Franklin Parish 20-16. Logansport over Northwood Lena 60-0. And D'Arbonne Woods Charter 35, Loyola Prep 7.
The North Shore Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care.
Covington over Hammond 20-19. St. Paul over North Shore 9-7. St. Helena defeats St. Thomas Aquinas 44-14. Bogalusa over Joel Sumner 21-13. Independence defeats Springfield 40-28. Slidell over Ponchatoula 18-14. Archbishop Hannon 45, Solomon 14, and Amite 40, Pine 35.
We'll talk about the North Shore a little bit later on, but interesting to see St. Paul trying to take a hold of that district, and an interesting score with a meet over Pine, 40-35. Is that Pine's first?
Pine's first loss
This season? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll mention that in a little bit, but they've been scoring some points.
We'll go back to Baton Rouge, and we were talking about the game that you heard if you were listening here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge tonight. Went a little back and forth, but it was the Bears that come out on top over Central tonight. A game in which, Central being you have some success, winning games, close score games, or a matter of time where maybe you're not having to play all 4 quarters. We saw Catholic having a running clock the last 2 weeks. How would this thing play out?
Well, you mentioned Central. Central's strength of schedule going in 5-1, and that looks good on paper, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at their strength of schedule factor, they were the 4th worst in Division I non-select. They haven't played a 4-quarter game probably since week 1 in their loss to De La Salle. So does that come back to haunt them? Possibly. 18-4 Central at the half. Ended up 24-20 Central at the end of the 3rd quarter. Catholic High was able to get some touchdowns. Scored on a 4th and 6 to go up. They scored from the 19-yard line. The Wright brothers, Brooks and Bradley, had big nights. And then another one that one of the stats that jumped out to me while I was doing some research this week was Catholic High did not have a running back listed in the area leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Every year they have somebody in the top 10 in the area.
And more than likely, it's a young man who's probably got offers at the next level.
Yes, and they didn't have that this year, but Barry Remo stepped up. At 30-something yards in the first half. He had 202.
Way to go.
In the second half. So they turned the ball over to him. I know he had a 65-yard touchdown run, and Catholic was able to pull away. Central didn't give up. They fought back, scored right there at the end and make it 42-38. But I think this told us a little bit more about Central. They fought. They were in it.
Mm-hmm.
They may be a little better than even what their 5-1 record says they are, 5-2. And so it was.
I'm sure all the punches were pulled on this one.
We've talked about we don't like losses, a good loss or whatever, but this is one of those that Central don't have anything to hold their head down about. Catholic High moves on to 4-3 now, the first time they get above 500 for the year.
Yeah, considering how the year's going for them. I don't think this is the last we've seen of Central. I think it was certainly impressive to be in this game the way they were and to have an atmosphere like this over there. I'm sure the fans were excited. It's something where you're going to take, maybe it takes a little time.
In Catholic High, they have to figure out something on defense. When you look at, I know they're missing Blaine Bradford, who's probably the top safety in the country as a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
But going into tonight against Picayune, East Ascension, East Warren Easton, U-High, St. Thomas More, all those are high-octane offenses. They were giving up 37.5. Central puts up 38 on them tonight, so they're right there at their 37, 38 points allowed a game. They're going to have to fix that.
Santa Maria remains undefeated on the season with a 14-7 win over Denham Springs.
Defensive shootout. Again, Denham Springs just can't score. They cannot score against. They score 7 going into tonight. You take away the cupcake games. We mentioned this in the pregame show.
Yeah.
They were averaging 8 points. Tonight, what do they do? 7.
So they hit their average.
They hit their average. But they were 28th going into the power rankings. Of course, won't kill them too bad because Santa Maria does move to 7-0. Santa Maria's a little better than I thought. I'm anxious to see what they do next week with Dutchtown. That is a big, big game for both of those teams. Walker,
a team coming off a nice win last week, and East Ascension, they're going to be the team we talked about with Coach Mahaffey. You're going to look on the other side, and you're going to be very impressed. But you come out, you're Walker, you don't take a step back, and you get that win over East Ascension.
Well, first let's talk about Walker. 6-1 now, 6 wins in a row. They lose to Ponchatoula 20-15 in week 1. They've played better on both sides of the ball. We talked about with Chad Mahaffey this week on Wednesday. their defense is going to keep them in games. They're just not giving up points. They hold EA to 14 again tonight. I thought this was a must-win game for EA. They fought a 1-6. We know they played that brutal schedule. It was as tough as anyone in the state in 5A. The one game that they scored points in was the game they won, and that was 44 against a De La Salle team that's now 2-5 on the year. The other games, they were averaging only 11.2 points a game, and again, they score right above their average. They're going to have to figure out some things offensively. As really, I think it's an identity thing. What are we good at? Or what are we great at? And the answer is nothing. Get great at something, because they're too good, they're too talented to be 1-6, even with the schedule they've played.
Yeah, they got tons of great athletes, and it is very, very surprising, at least, that is the record here after 7 games in the season. U-High dominated over Madison Prep tonight. Not so much surprising that they won the game, but seemingly really didn't have much trouble. 43-7 tonight.
That game last year probably stung them a little bit, and they probably
went to overtime last year.
Yep.
Madison Prep won, but U-High comes in, they're averaging 40 points a game. Madison Prep has played some good teams.
Mm-hmm.
They've played Southern Lab. They went to Brother Martin, who got a big win over Holy Cross tonight. They're just not scoring many points, but they hadn't been giving up many. U-High is just so talented. Their quarterback's been playing well lately. They have 3 or 4 different wide receivers that they can go to. Riley Small does a good job at the running back. You have Seth Gale. You have Zay Martin.
Moses on the defense.
The Moses kid. And, heck, Beecham.
Yeah.
At linebacker. I mean, they're just so good at all levels on defense. They got the big lineman up front for them. They're good at every level on defense. They got skilled guys all over the field on offense. They're going to be tough to deal with in that division. Yeah, I think, boy, if we could keep them as St. Charles on opposite side, or Calvary's not in that one, no. St. Charles and them on opposite sides, boy, that could be a barn burner.
Be nice to see if they can meet up, in the Superdome.
Dunham wants to say something about that.
Oh, Calvary is in that division. Calvary's another one. They moved to 7-0. Their quarterback had a big night last night going. Abram Wardell, 20 for 23. I think 300-something yards and 5 or 6 touchdowns.
Sounds like a Todd Black kind of night.
That's right.
Yeah, Evangel, I know we're not talking about, but
North DeSoto, Evangel, North DeSoto pulled that one out. We'll get to that North Louisiana in a little bit, but that was a good one.
And Evangel's playing, much better than what we've seen in the recent years. So we'll get to that and a lot more of the areas around the state when we return. This is the Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Don't have time for a trampoline injury?
We don't have time for this today.
We're here with online check-in so you can wait from anywhere. Plus, on-site digital x-rays. If you don't have time to be hurt, feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
His name was King. He had a hole.
Prep football from Carr to Karen Crow. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. Efforting a victorious head coach, Dennis Dunn from North DeSoto. If we can pull that off, you'll hear from him in about 3 minutes. Let's get caught up on scores, and we'll start first in the capital city with Skip.
The Capital City Scoreboard, served by walk-ons.
Catholic over Central, 42-38. West Feliciana blanks Bruley, 20-0. University High, 43. Madison Prep 7. Walker, a 33-14 winner over East Ascension. Zachary blanks Scotlandville, 51-0. Dunham over Episcopal, 55-28. St. John defeats Ascension Christian, 28-21. And Santa Maria over Denham Springs, 14-7.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
John Curtis over Acadiana, 28-0. Edna Carr, 35. Jesuits, 7. Newman, a 29-24 winner over De La Salle. Archbishop Shaw, 41. Belle Chase, 15. St. James defeats Patterson, 48-0. Brother Martin over Holy Cross, 22-19. St. Augustine Rummel played tomorrow night at 7. And Destrehan, 38. Terrebonne, 7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
St. Charles over St. Martinville, 43-15. Sam Houston, 34. Lafayette, 21. Breaux Bridge defeats Kinder, 46-36. Catholic New Iberia blanks Delcom, 49-0. Notre Dame over Vinton, 48-6. St. Louis over Lake Charles College Prep, 34-7. Southside over Sulphur, 38-14. Vermilion Catholic, 42. Jeanerette, 8.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
Alexandria over Ouachita Parish, 35-10. Parkway defeats Byrd, 21-3. North DeSoto, 38. Evangel, 28. West Monroe defeats West Ouachita, 42-14. Sterlington over Union Parish 24-10. Tioga over Franklin Parish 20-16. Logansport blanks Northwood Lena 60-0. And D'Arbonne Woods Charter 35, Loyola Prep 7.
The North Shore Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care.
Covington over Hammond 20-19. St. Paul defeats North Shore 9-7. St. Helena over St. Thomas Aquinas 44-14. Bogalusa over Jewel Sumner 21-13. Independence defeats Springfield 40-28. Slidell over Ponchatoula 18-14. Archbishop Hannon 45, Solomon 14. And Amite 40, Pine 35.
Thank you, Skip. And as you heard some of those scores from the North and Central Louisiana area tonight, North DeSoto got the win over Evangel 38-28. And their head coach, Dennis Dunn, joins us now here on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. Coach, congratulations on the win. Thanks so much for staying up late, spending a couple minutes with us.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing great, Coach. It's a big win tonight, but one question I have to ask. You and Denny Duran helped put together an Evangel program and built it. What's it like being on the other side, looking across at Coach Duran?
Well, that's a good question. We were able to accomplish something very special in those years. And, those days are very, special to me, my family, my kids grew up there. And, what we were able to accomplish, a lot of people will never have the opportunity to do that. So we're very honored and privileged to have been a small part of what was created there at Evangel. And, when you go back, this was my third time back to Evangel. So it's just, really at this point, it's another game. Evangel's gotten better, and they'll make some noise before the season's over with. This was kind of the year they were looking to. A lot of those kids that played tonight have been playing since they were freshmen, so we knew that they were going to be a formidable opponent, and they were. It was a heck of a game tonight. We're very happy to get the win, but Denny's a great friend of mine, been knowing each other for a long time. We're still great friends. We love each other, and you hate to be in a situation where you even have to play, so. But if you do line up, we're both competitors, and
you'd rather win than lose, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Hey, Coach,
no doubt about it.
Your defense has been playing good as of late. Talk a little bit about them and how they helped you win this ball game tonight.
Well, they were lights out. I mean, we left a lot of points on the table. We probably left 3 or 4 touchdowns on the table tonight. We didn't, we made some mistakes offensively, but we threw a pick 6, but the defense has just been tremendous over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and tonight was no different. We got a DB, I think, in Lake Bates that may be the best defensive player in Louisiana. He's just tremendous, but he plays behind some really good linebackers and BT McMillan and Caleb Carter. So all these guys have experience. 6 or 7 guys on defense that are playing good, played in the Superdome last year. So a lot of experience over there and getting better every week.
Coach Luke Delafield, sophomore, has been phenomenal. He was great as a freshman, over 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions going into tonight. But and honestly, the offense, you averaging 52, I think it is, going into tonight. But you replaced 4 guys on your offensive line. How are you able to continue to put up the same type of points when that, I mean, let's face it, that's the nucleus of any team. How good your offensive line is, how good you're going to be.
Yeah.
Just speak of those guys.
Question. That's a good question. I think you get your program to a place, and I think we're there when it's the next man up. Guys have been waiting their turn. And, we're 5 years into building this thing. And, you've got guys that have been preparing to play, and now it's their turn, and they've stepped into the role and are executing at a high level right now. So just really proud of them, and the guys that are new starters. Now they're not. Now they're 4 of those guys will be back next year. So that's what makes it special when you can play some guys that get some experience and then they'll return. So, but very good question. They're playing really well up front offensively too.
Coach, do you I'll tell you, mine is offensive line. I have a passion. That would be mine. Do you have a passion as a head coach that you kind of favor a little bit more so than others?
Well, I think you got to be good there, and I would coach it if I didn't have a great offensive line coach, because it's that critical. I've coached it through the years, and really, I'm like you. I think it's very important. I think I've just about coached every position in 39 years of coaching, on both sides of the ball. But you're right, that if you don't have a great one up front to coach those guys, because they are the key to your football team, and we've got a really good one, and a young coach by the name of Logan Morrison that's just doing a tremendous job. But I coach Luke, and I'm enjoying coaching quarterback. He's a fun kid to work with every day, and he's something special. Luke Delafield, that name will be remembered for a long time in Louisiana. He's got a great future ahead of him.
And I can tell you, Todd, offensive line coaches are probably the hardest spot to fill on a staff.
Yeah.
And when you get a good one, you better do what you got to do to hold on to it.
It's the small things,
yes.
Within that line that make a difference. And, one of the hardest things to do, it seems sometimes, is just to get them to communicate.
Right.
Just talk to each other. But, boy, there's nothing better when they're blowing people off the ball.
Coach Dunn, we appreciate you taking up your time,
thank you so much.
And congratulations, a big win again, North DeSoto, 38-28 winner over Evangel. They move on to 6-1, Cade.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We move on from a victorious head coach in Dennis Dunn from North DeSoto to Coach Mark Bonis from Brother Martin with a big win tonight over Holy Cross. Coach, thanks so much for joining us for a couple minutes, and congratulations on a win against a really good football team.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you all for having me on and having our staff on tonight.
Coach, what a win. I mean, Holy Cross comes into this game
undefeated
and really playing as hot as anybody in the state. I mean, they had speed all over the field, but your defense has been really good all year. I thought it would come down in pregame notes I had wrote that it was their offense against your defense. Your defense had the better night tonight. And also you got to count a little bit of your offense too, because you limited Holy Cross to about 6 offensive possessions tonight?
Yes, sir. The plan was this. The plan was to go in and, we wanted to hold the football. I mean, the offense that they have, Vance Andrew does a great job. He's OC over there of utilizing a whole bunch of talent. I mean, they may be, one of the most talented group of guys assemble on the football field, that we've seen here in a long time, with their receivers. When people talk about the 2 receivers they have really have 4 good receivers. You got 3 great, 3 really good running backs. The Cole Canatella kid is an outstanding quarterback, tough. They really have an outstanding group of guys offensively. So, what we thought was the best thing to do is we wanted to sit there and keep the ball away from them, and our goal was to hold them to about 8 possessions going in. And at the end of the game, when somebody told me we held them to 6 possessions, the plan really worked to fruition. And what I'm proud of is I'm proud of our guys, because it's not necessarily a style of football that anybody wants to play, but it was a team win. We told our receivers, hey, we were going to pick and choose when we were going to throw. We were very efficient. Our quarterback was outstanding tonight. I think we're a big RPO team. He ran the offense well. I think he probably only threw about 6 passes, but I think he was 6 of 6. And this is what was awesome about the offense tonight was the fact that, I would say Holy Cross knew exactly what we were trying to do, and then our offense, and our running backs ran well, but man, our offensive line got after it tonight, and they won in the trenches, and for us, that's a culture win for us. We talk about team, tough, compete, finish. At halftime, we had them right, where we thought we would have them. We talked about for the next 24 minutes, we're going to do what we need to do and finish. And that's one of our big core principles is finishing. And tonight, I thought all three phases, finished the football game. I couldn't be more proud of our guys, for following the plan and finishing the football game.
Jimmy, we've talked about difficult schedules, and sometimes Brother Martin's gets overlooked, but, I don't see how, because you guys have gotten better throughout the season. Talk about a little bit about how those first 6 weeks kind of prepared you for this mindset and to be able to finish a game against a very good team.
Well, it all started 2 years ago when we all thought we were going to be in the playoffs, right? And you plan accordingly. So we sat there, we scheduled as tough as we could, and then last year we find out, oh well, hey, that's not how the playoffs are set up. And we looked at it like, this is. I don't know if this is the best thing that for us to do, but all joking aside, that's what we're going to do year in, year out. We're going to schedule as tough as we can because our goal is this: that we want to challenge ourselves, and we want to. The goal is we're very process oriented. We want to be playing our best football at the end of the season. So our mindset is you're going to play. You're going to go on the road because you're going to eventually have to do that in the playoffs, and you're going to play the toughest teams possible. And from week to week, you're going to sit there and win or loss. You're going to sit there and improve and get better, learn from your mistakes, hoping that you can be playing your best football at the end of the season. And it's happened well. It's been good for us. 6 of the last, I believe, 9 years we had been to the semifinals, and then last year we finally, we finally make a trip to the Superdome because of that. Last year we finished up 5-5, but we started playing our best football towards the end of the year. And once again, it kind of laid itself out for us, and we were able to make that run. So it's something we believe in. We want to challenge our guys, and I mean that's when you talk about one of our core principles of competing. I mean, when you do this, you want to play the best, and I believe that it's gonna not only prepare you, for playoff run and make you better in football, but that's what you want out of your guys in life, and that's a big thing for us. Our 4 core principles and the culture we talk about, it's important with football, but most importantly, we talk about those things, we preach about those things, because when our guys graduate across stage, if they're living those principles, we know this, they're going to be successful young men, in the world ahead of them.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate your time here, staying up late with us. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck as you head into Week 8.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for having us on, and we really appreciate it.
Congratulations,
hey, thank you.
Coach.
Thank y'all so much.
All right.
Brother Martin, head football coach. Mark Bonis.
Yeah, their 2 losses are to Carr and St. Thomas More.
But you hear what he's saying, with the culture win.
Yes.
And it just kind of gives me, that kind of thing, and then relating it to kids and developing them as young men, and that's what it's all about.
Because it's not an instant gratification thing. It's a long term when he's talking about culture. It's the idea when we talk about schools that have great running backs, like at Union Parish, et cetera, where the coaching system, or at St. Thomas More, when you've had a very similar staff for 20, 30-something years, and things are done a certain way. So it's, Brother Martin is not, they've been around a long time. But so, things aren't an overnight success. You're trying to build something. So when you talk about culture, in my head, my first thought is this is a long-term plan. We're not trying to get just an instant gratification. We're satisfied with a win. A lot of coaches get a win and they find things every week to improve and improve. That's where the championships are
kind of
built.
like Coach Dunn is doing at North DeSoto.
Holy Cross, let's think about this. 6-0. 3 straight wins over Rummel, Curtis, and St. Aug. They averaged 48.7 in those games. They averaged 44.7 on the year.
Less than half of that tonight.
And then less than half of that. But, like I said, they held them to 6 possessions through the game. That's phenomenal.
A lot of times you can be fooled by time of possession, so sometimes it's what you make of your possessions. You only get 6 and you get 19, you know what I mean? It's, different ball game.
We need to go to break. I got to get Brock.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll be right back. Hey, it's right down the street from 13th Gate. This is Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Mom, what's for breakfast? Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
Coaches and a radio professional. Gee, I wonder who wrote that one. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Hour 2, Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. Helmet stickers coming your way in about 15 minutes from right now, but want to go back to the New Orleans area. We were just talking with Coach Mark Bonis about Brother Martin, looking at some of the other scores coming out of tonight from that New Orleans area. At the top of the show, we mentioned Curtis breaking their 2-game losing streak with a very impressive shutout win over Acadiana.
Nothing you'll tell me about Curtis surprised me, but for them to win 28-0 over the highest scoring team in the state, that's a statement win.
Newman over De La Salle was big, 29-24. And then you had you mentioned Carr. Yep.
Jesuit and Carr. Carr wins 35-7. Jesuit's been struggling to score all year. 21 points in a game, only averaging 12 points a game. 21 is the most they scored, so they hit about just below their average. Carr is allowing only 7. So Carr struggled a little bit offensively after the Warren Easton game. We talked about that earlier, Todd, against St. Aug and Brother Martin. They had only scored 27 and 19. This one started off slow for them. Finally got it going a little bit. Pine and A-Meet, Todd, 40-35 win for A-Meet. Pine 6-0 going into that. Had scored 45 points or more, I think, in all but one game. They returned 15 starters from last year's team. Playing real well, but A-Meet's A-Meet. I mean, they reload every year with Coach Powell over there. I was anxious to see how this one would play out, and I think this tells you that Pine's 6-0 record is pretty much legit. I was kind of worried about that, you know. St. Paul's, North Shore, we mentioned that earlier. St. Paul's wins 9-7. We talked on Wednesday night. If they could, whoever got to double digits first might be who won the game, and heck, neither team got it, but St. Paul's took command of that district. We mentioned quarterback, or we meant what?
Well, elsewhere in the district, I know they're the top of that, but starting out the year, Hammond was pretty impressive, coming out the gate 3-0, but they've lost 3 out of their last 4. It really kind of fizzled out.
Lost a tough one tonight to Covington.
And you just want to see that they're competitive and you know, 20-19, but they need to, you know, take that next step.
Yeah. That's right. And look, Coach Buckles is doing a really good job with them. We talked about why is North Shore struggling. Not North Shore High, the North Shore
overall,
the 6-5A district. I started looking through some stats this week, and we talked about quarterback play. I don't think they're getting good quarterback play.
Why you say that?
They're completing 47% of their passes as a whole. The district, they've thrown 29 interceptions. 29 touchdowns to 31 interceptions.
I think they got good defensive backs, is what I think.
You think they're playing DBU?
Yeah, DBU over there at district, maybe.
That might be
Somebody's
what it is.
doing it.
that might be what it is. Another stat I found crazy this week: Westlake. They lost last night to Iowa 38-0. They fall to 3-4. They started the year 3-0, averaging 45 points a game in those 3 wins. Then they scored 13 points total in their last 4 games and have been shut out 3 times.
They're matching Scotlandville.
Something's had to happen. Did they lose a key player? I don't know, but just the complete turnaround like that is just crazy.
Total Diamond Performance is in the house.
Oh, it reminds me.
Yeah.
Talking about getting to the fundamentals of things. I seem to forget, and I have to be reeled back in. TDP, which is Total Diamond Performance, is a way to get you back to the fundamentals. Like if you're the Braves and you just lost, you know, maybe you need to get back to the fundamentals.
Yeah, there was some smack talking going on there, wasn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah, so the Louisiana Mariners are their youth team, I guess. They're 14 now, believe it or not. I'd say believe it or not. Brock is 14, but they've got a lot of hitting classes. They've got fielding classes, pitching classes, a lot of good coaches over there. And I know the one thing that I enjoy about the Louisiana Mariners is there's no dad coaches, and they're getting quality reps. They have indoor cages. I think they're looking to expand at Total Diamond Performance. Give Matt at tdpbaseball.com a call. That's Matt Mastretta. So just Matt at tdpbaseball.com and tell them Brock and Liam told you to call for 50% off.
Brock's 14? You said Brock is 14, Coach?
He's
Brock, how old are you? 14.
Oh, my God.
He just made it in August.
I know. That's what I was doing the math real quick, and I just didn't.
I pictured him significantly younger, teaching me how to floss in the Superdome suite with the mohawk.
Well, so he's about to cut that garb off.
Oh, really?
Come on.
Oh.
One of his buddies.
But that's in baseball. I see there's a lot of
cut it.
A lot of the youth.
Yeah,
I've been telling him to cut it.
Liam had one too, and he cut his too. But so one of the kids that plays for him, he told Brock the other day, I can't believe your dad doesn't let us wear our drip. I can't believe he lets you have a mohawk or a what do you call those redneck things?
I have no idea. A mullet?
Party in the front, mullet.
Mullet?
Yeah, party in the front, business.
Yep.
Yeah,
I said,
business in the front, party in the
I
back.
said, look, I'm not the same way at home as I am. But if he wore drip, it would be.
Y'all do a fit check before y'all get out the door?
Oh my God! Last week, dude, breast cancer awareness. It's pink.
Yes.
If they had a place on their body to put pink, it was pink. And I mean, you just gotta. I mean, when you're worried too much about what you look like opposed to your play, I got a problem with that.
Speaking of that team, they're up 29-12.
The Buffaloes?
In a pick right there. Okay, up north, big game.
Yep.
Big game. Ouachita Christian, Harding, Arkansas. Harding wins this one 31-14. That knocks OCS to 6-1. But Harding's no slouch. 3 years in a row.
It's in Arkansas, right?
It's in Arkansas. Last year they played in the 4A state championship and lost. The 3 years before that, they won the 3A state championship. Since 2019, their record's 58-4. The lowest points they had scored in that time frame is 29, and they scored 31 tonight at Ouachita Christian. Almost held them to that. Their quarterback last year was a sophomore, threw for 3,700 yards, 38 touchdowns, and completed 79% of his passes.
So I think they will take the attendance, whatever Harding's. If let's say they have 800 kids, they take that 800, they place it into the classification for Louisiana.
What it would fall under.
Where it would fall under, and that's how they determine the points if they are playing up that they would get. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of drip, BSN Sports and bsnsports.com can get you fitted with a nice drip. We got the pullovers, the quarter zips on Wednesday. Those are fantastic. Can't wait to break that out. They can outfit your team not only with the gear that you need, but the equipment as well. Scott Nielsen, roaming the sidelines. Zachary, he is the man to get in touch with. But bsnsports.com, the name brand you know and love, they're there at bsnsports.com. So we'll take a time out. We'll be right back to wrap things up on this Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time. Get your results fast at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Mom, what's for breakfast?
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level.
Back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Week 7 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. Presented by Lake Urgent Care, Cade Wazan and Jimmy Roy. Todd Black on a last-minute assignment, and we will catch up with him on Wednesday night for Louisiana Prep Weekly. But let's go ahead without further ado and give out tonight's helmet stickers.
Highlighting tonight's top performers. This is Helmet Stickers on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard.
I couldn't think of anyone better, at least for tonight, in immediate thought of what we saw earlier in the first half than Jake House in a play that was just incredible. He caught it, Jimmy, but I think it's like it immediately went from Episcopal's punter's foot to his hand, and he basically walked into the end zone.
He literally pretty much took it off the punter's foot. It was an incredible play.
And you were right. You called it, but you kept calling that there was an idea that they could have gotten a couple more the way those snaps were going.
I think if they would have really put an emphasis on it, they probably could have got to a couple more. Okay, before I go to my helmet sticker, tell Gardy I want headsets like that.
The neon Dion
like
ones?
Dion's wearing for our show next week.
You saw that, right?
Yeah. Gold plated. Can we get those? Look,
there you go. There you go, Ryan.
Right there. We're good.
That's just beautiful.
Gardy's going to have to hook us up with that.
sit on the show with headphones like that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, my helmet stickers goes to Ascension Catholic, running back Chad Elsey. Last week, he had 10 carries for 348 yards and 5 touchdowns. He backs it up Thursday night with 8 carries for 313 and 6 touchdowns. I know the competition hasn't been that great, but in the last 2 weeks, 18 carries, 661 yards, and 11 touchdowns. He now has 98 carries for 1,471 yards and 23 touchdowns. The other helmet sticker I want to mention is a Captain Shreve quarterback, Quartoni, I think is how you say it, Beaner. He started the year as a freshman. He loses his job to Brody Savage, who's a junior. Savage gets injured in week 5 against Parkway. They bring Beaner back in. He finishes that game, and then last week against, who'd they play last week? Airline. He rushes for 4 touchdown passes for 1. Leads the team to a school record. Captain Shreve with 60 points. And this is a kid who got benched earlier. He could have pouted. He could have cried. Instead, he went and encouraged the guy who beat him out, helped him along the way, was pulling for him. Now he gets another opportunity, and he responds the way you're supposed to.
You know, some college players could take a lesson from that, because the second you see in a little adversity nowadays, it's just hop into the transfer portal. We've seen a couple situations this year where I believe Chad Kelly was the starter for Santa Maria last year. Babin beat him out to start this year. First drive of the series, he's right back in there after the injury, and now Babin's back. Sometimes, look, well, most of the time, you're a play away, you know.
Absolutely.
And you're just there. You're not there biding time. There's active reasons, and you can get yourself or find yourself right back in the mix and being an active player on the team.
Todd just sent us a text from his car when he got in it.
I was trying to check that.
I think he's right on that. Every coach we had tonight
Sam
on play. No, Sam Houston didn't.
Yeah, because Coach
Sam
Neal
Houston
was.
didn't. But every other one,
North DeSoto.
every other coach we had on tonight
Brother
played
Martin.
in the Dome last year for the championship, and that wasn't planned it by any means.
No.
That's pretty cool stat.
Good atmosphere over on the campus of Episcopal High School tonight for our walk-ons game of the week. Good to see that support. Back-to-back weeks, although last week is something special, no doubt. But we've seen some good atmospheres last 2 weeks. Looking forward to seeing what's ahead for Week 8. I didn't even look at the schedule yet.
I think two games that I know are scheduled. I haven't looked at the whole thing, but the two that jump out at me are Central going to Zachary.
Yep.
That one's going to be a packed house out there.
Might have to stop at the fire station.
Yeah, we'll make a stop by the fire station, maybe South Plains, and then also Santa Maria and Dutchtown. I think that one's at Dutchtown, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be a big game.
Thanks so much to Sam Houston's Chad Davis, to Neil Weiner from Dunham, to Dennis Dunn from North DeSoto, and Mark Bonis from Brother Martin. For Skip and Ryan and Casey and Coach Todd Black, Coach Jimmy Roy, I'm Cade Wazan. We'll see you next week.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.